In this video, we are going to concentrate on the circulatory system. So before we start circulatory system, let us make connections between the transport in plants and the transport in animals. In plants, three different types of transport will take place. One is water transport, the second one is food transport, and the third one is gas transport. That is the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide takes place through the stomata of the leaves. In animals, whatever the food we are taking, after digestion, it will get converted into simpler products like glucose, amino acids and fatty acids. So these simpler products has to be oxidized inside the cells to get energy. So the simpler products will be taken to each and individual cell, every cell. And then for oxidation, oxygen is needed. So that oxygen has to be transported to each and every cell. So after oxidation, the oxygen will get converted into carbon dioxide. So that has to be removed from the cells. And apart from that, extra water, salts and nitrogenous waste produced after the metabolism of carbohydrates, protein and fats has to be eliminated. So that has to be taken to different places. And finally, the hormones. The hormones are the substances that has to be produced in one place and it should be transported to the target area. So these are all the substances will get transported in animals. So now one question arises. So transport in living organism. In each and every organism, the transport is happening. So which is responsible for carrying out the transport in living organisms? In plants, the transport is done by the conducting tissues, xylem and phloem. The xylem will carry the water and minerals from root to all parts of the plant, and phloem will carry the food from the leaves to all parts of the plant. But in animals, there is a specialized system called circulatory system that is responsible for the transport of substances inside the body of animals. So first let us understand what is the need for circulatory system. The circulatory system usually it carries oxygen, nutrients and hormones to the cells and removes the waste products like carbon dioxide, urea and uric acid. All cells in the body need to have oxygen and nutrients to get energy. And after the oxidation of nutrients, the end products will be formed, like carbon dioxide will be produced. So that waste has to be eliminated from our body. So the circulatory system is responsible for doing all these functions. Components of circulatory system, which includes heart, blood and blood vessels. So heart is a muscular organ and it is the size of your closed fist. So location of the heart. So many people they used to tell the heart is located in the left side of your body, but that is not exactly correct. It is just located in between both the lungs. It is present in the center of the lungs. The heart is located in the chest region between the lungs and behind the sternum and above the diaphragm. The sternum is nothing but it is the breastbone. But the heart is slightly tilted towards the left side. That's why the people used to say that the heart is present in the left side. So let us understand the components of blood. So the blood consists of the blood plasma, that is the liquid part of the blood in which the blood cells will be floating. So there are three main blood cells present in the blood. One is RBC, that is the red blood cells. It is also called by the name erythrocytes. It is responsible for giving red color to the blood and it is also responsible for transporting oxygen. So the hemoglobin present in the red blood cell is responsible for carrying the oxygen. And next comes the white blood cells. The violet color in the picture, what you are seeing, the violet color cells, they are the white blood cells. They are also called by the name leukocytes. So the main function of white blood cell is to protect ourselves from any pathogens. So it provides immunity to our body. And the third one, like in the bottom of the picture, you are seeing two different types of cells, that is the platelets. They are also called by the name thrombocytes, and they are responsible for blood clotting. Next, we are going to discuss about the blood vessels. So there are three main blood vessels. One is arteries, the second one is veins, and the third one is blood capillaries. So the red color thing, whatever you are seeing in the diagram, they are the arteries. They are the tube-like structures that will carry the blood. And this side, the opposite side in the blue color, what you are noticing is the vein. And the third one, the capillaries, they are the smallest structures, smallest blood vessels, and they will connect arteries and veins. So arteries are the blood vessels that carries blood from the heart and deliver it to all other parts of the body. Veins are the blood vessels that will carry blood from other parts of the body and deliver it to the heart. So both artery and vein will do opposite functions. And capillaries. The capillaries are the very smallest and most numerous of the blood vessels. It connects both arteries and the veins. But the primary function of capillaries is the exchange of materials from the blood and tissue cells. So apart from the circulatory system, there is one more system present in our body to help for circulation, that it is called by the name lymphatic system. It includes lymph and lymph vessels. The lymph will be carried only by the lymph vessels, not by the blood vessels. If you compare blood and lymph, the blood is a colorless fluid and it is very clear that flows through its own vessels located throughout the body. Lymph doesn't contain RBC, it contains WBCs. So the main function is to provide immunity to our body. So whenever any germs enters, it will fight it with them and it will throw them away. The lymphatic system. So in this picture, so green color thing you are noticing, that is the lymphatic system, and the other side what you are seeing is the circulatory system, which includes blood, heart and blood vessels. So together they are responsible, lymphatic system and circulatory system, they are responsible for the transport of substances, but main transport is done by the circulatory system. So now let us understand what are the types of fluid present in our body. There are three different types of fluids present in our body. One is blood, the second one is lymph, and the third one is tissue fluids. So already we have discussed about the blood and lymph. So now let us discuss what is called tissue fluids. So tissue fluids are nothing but, so the tissue is made up of group of cells. So and in between the cells some small gaps will be there. So the gaps will be filled with fluids. So they are called, that fluids are called by the name tissue fluids. So we can define the tissue fluids in this manner. It occupies the space between the individual cells of the body. And this tissue fluids, it's also called by the name interstitial fluid. So this is the diagram. In this, like in between the cells, you are seeing some dot structures. They are nothing but they are the tissue fluids. So these tissue fluids are constantly formed at the arteriole end of the capillary beds, and it is essential for the efficient exchange of materials between the blood and the cells. So it constantly being drained away from the cells by lymph vessels. So arterioles are nothing but the branches of arteries. They are called by the name arterioles. In this picture, you are seeing the whole circulatory system. So it includes the heart, blood and blood vessels. So it is distributed throughout our body. In this diagram, you are seeing how blood, lymph and tissue fluids are working together. Thank you.